If you've ever wondered why a green card can be denied or canceled, I'm going to tell you right now. Hello everyone, I'm attorney Lee Marvin, and I've been practicing law for about 22 years with a focus in immigration law for the last 11 years. My main office is in Grand Rapids, Michigan, but I can help individuals and families from any state in the country and really any country on the planet. So stick around for a couple minutes because I want to explain the 7 most common reasons why the government might deny or cancel a green card, and I'm going to give you suggestions on how to avoid it, okay? So number 1, the first reason is that there's errors in the application. Errors especially relating to the sponsor and the beneficiary, meaning their personal information, on the application, especially multiple applications. So it's not just one mistake on one application, okay, that can be overlooked. But the same mistake on multiple applications won't necessarily be overlooked the same way. Usually, this will result in getting a request for evidence, okay, an RFE. But immigration could outright deny you. They don't necessarily have to give you an RFE. And if they do and they don't do it, well, how are you going to prove? What do you have to do to show that they were supposed to give you another chance? You got to sue them in federal court? Who the heck wants to do that? So, suggestion, pretty simple. Triple check your stuff. Look through everything. And you got to remember, you as the applicant, you are responsible for every piece of information on there, whether you hire an attorney to help you or not. It's still your application. The attorney can't be held responsible for information that is inaccurate because, for the most part, the applicant is the one who provides the information, right? So just triple check it. Hiring an attorney is definitely a good way to make sure that common things are not overlooked. It's better to have a professional with a different point of view to catch your mistakes for you, okay? Number 2, incomplete documentation or evidence. So incomplete evidence. Same as last example, it's key to have the right information for the filing, okay? A denial is possible if you haven't included a piece of evidence that you're supposed to include. Most of the time, again, you'll get a request for evidence and immigration will allow you the opportunity to try to fix it. But you don't want to plan on them having your back because it's the government having your back. You don't want that. So make sure that you do it right the first time, okay? And another thing I want to say is that if you have someone help you, don't go to some notario. If you don't know what a notario is, it basically is someone who pretends that they're a lawyer. They want people to think that they're a lawyer so that they can do the process for the immigrant, okay? There's a lot of people out there like that. They might be your friend. They might be somebody that you go to get your taxes done at. There's all sorts of places that do this, nonprofits, that they're not legal professionals. They want you to think they are, okay? Be very careful of those people because they will mess up and forever destroy your chance of fixing your process, okay? The third reason why green cards, legal permanent residency might be denied or canceled is someone's failure to meet financial requirements. There's very strict rules about sponsoring an immigrant, and if you don't make enough money to show that you can support that immigrant, then you're going to get denied or you're going to get a request for evidence, okay? So big suggestion for this. This is actually somewhat common for individuals sponsoring a loved one to need a co-sponsor, okay? So plan ahead and have a co-sponsor ready just in case you need one. If you make enough money and you don't get asked by immigration, then great. You can just tell the family member or friend that you are not going to need their assistance, and that's good. But if you get a request for evidence and you have 2-3 months to respond to it and you don't have someone who can be a co-sponsor, that's going to be a bigger problem, okay? So that's my suggestion for that. The fourth reason why a green card might be denied is due to fraud. So this is becoming more and more of a problem as people become more desperate to leave their home countries for whatever problems they may have in their home country, and they want to come to the United States and get long-term status in the United States. The Trump administration is much more strict about punishing those who commit fraud or are suspected of fraud than the former president, okay? My suggestion for this is be prepared for the consequences of the government saying you committed fraud, okay? Usually it's more than them just saying, hey, you committed fraud. Usually there's a lot more involved where they might have an extra interview with you. They will have information usually that explains why they believe you have committed fraud. You can refute that or challenge that, but be prepared is my suggestion. Be prepared to handle it if it happens. And most people kind of know if they're going to get accused of fraud. So if you think that you're going to get accused of fraud, don't file for immigration, because immigration, especially under this administration, they're very good at being quick to accuse somebody of something like that. So if there's any evidence or any suggestion that you might have been committing fraud, marriage fraud is the most common, then just don't file. I know you're desperate, but it's not worth being banned for life because you've been found to have committed immigration fraud, whether it's for a green card or asylum. Just stay away from that situation because it'll doom you from ever being able to get a benefit in the United States forever. That's the worst consequence, okay? So the fifth recommendation or thought or suggestion or reason why someone might lose their green card is based on unlawful presence. This is probably the most common problem under immigration for decades, is people entering the country without permission and having unlawful presence. Unlawful presence is not as easy to overcome as you might think it is. So it's not just being married or related to a U.S. citizen. That's only a very small part of it. You must not have accumulated unlawful presence to be able to qualify for that benefit as well. There's ways to undo this. There's waivers and things like that. So that's my suggestion. If you have an unlawful presence, you can very potentially qualify for a waiver. And I will tell you to go to my channel and look it up, because I have several videos that talk about unlawful presence and the different things that can be done to help you overcome this problem, okay? Number 6 reason is if you are determined by the government to be a public charge. Like the financial requirements that I just mentioned a moment ago, the issue of becoming a public charge and having to rely on the taxpayer for support is a very big concern. It's one of the primary concerns of the Trump administration. So they're very eager to accuse somebody of being a public charge and invalidating their request to move forward with their green card, okay? Usually if they do that, if they deny the request, if they deny the green card, they will give you typically 30 to 60 days to leave the country. And they're not joking. They will tell you that in a very stern but nice way for the government in the denial. After that, they will track you down and they will haul you into court and they will deport you. My suggestion here is be very careful when you're dealing with local or state organizations that encourage you to get benefits, okay? Their goal is to spend taxpayer money through the welfare system. They don't know the consequences to people who are not eligible for it. So be careful when obtaining that advice from anyone, because if you do it, it's never going to go away and it's going to create a major problem. And being a public charge is something that the last Trump administration was hot and heavy about. They're not as bad this time around, but this is only the first year. So just stay away from people that make it that suggest you and want you to take out public benefits, because public benefits, not all of them, have a problem with immigration. But if you stay away from all of them, unless you truly do need them, then you're going to be in a better position, okay? You can always consult an immigration attorney before you take out public assistance to see if this type of assistance is one that this administration might come after you for, okay? So, the last example of a reason why the government could deny a green card is the biggest reason of all the 6, criminal history, okay? Having a criminal history, depending on what it is, can immediately stop everything and give you a one-way ticket to a deportation, okay? So there's a lot of different crimes out there. Not all of them violate immigration law in a way that will get you deported, but some of them will get you deported very quickly and very harshly. So you're going to have to avoid moving forward with certain processes if you have those kinds of histories. And again, the only way to really know that is to talk to an experienced immigration attorney that can help guide you through this process and keep you away from the ones that will invalidate it and make you deportable. Whether you've been here for years as a green card holder or not, and you try to become a naturalized citizen and you have a certain type of aggravated felony, you're going to get deported, or they will start the process to deport you. So my suggestion is to keep your nose clean, avoid situations that put you in an environment where you might be looped into someone's bad doing, and then all of a sudden now you as the immigrant are going to get deported. And always talk to somebody who knows what they're doing with immigration before you make any choices or filing anything that will bring you to the government's attention and create problems for you, okay? Again, as always, stay informed and stay safe.